Words appear. Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway? Present, in association with Sterling Creation, Dining with Donna. Sponsored by VIP Tech.
Hello there. My name is Donna Jodhan, and I'd like to welcome you to my very first show titled Dining with Donna. I am no expert chef, nor am I a culinary expert. I'm just here to share with you my lived experiences as a person who loves to cook. Indeed, I really love to cook, and I love to share my experiences with you, recipes that I have tried and mucked up from time to time, recipes from my friends, both sighted and vision impaired, that they have also tried, mucked up, embellished, and have handed it over to me. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself to start with, as this is the first show. And I'd like to thank my dear friend Victor Guvia for having given me this opportunity to have this brand new show and to share my experiences with you. So, I was born with very little vision, and then when I was a teenager, I got a whack of vision that changed my entire world because I had a cornea transplant. But 25 years later, a retina detachment, which was very, very bad, took my vision away, and now I am almost totally blind. So you see, I have had a life of rich experiences where I have gotten the opportunity to cook and move around in my kitchen as someone with very little vision, someone with a whack of vision, and now as someone with little or no vision. It's a lot of fun, so let's climb aboard and start week 1 with you. And for this week, I'd like to start with Asian pork tenderloin. This recipe is supposed to be less than 300 calories. So let's see how we do here. And I'd like to start by first letting you know that a text version of my show will be provided by Victor. And secondly, I'd like you to keep this email address in mind. It's askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. That is askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. So let's get down to some fun and get down to some business, okay? So the tools or implements that you're going to need for this recipe are as follows. You will need measuring cups, and I normally use a set of measuring cups that I bought several years ago, too many years ago, at a home hardware store, and you can also find these measuring cups at a kitchen store. They need not be specialized Braille measuring cups, because I believe there are about 4 or 5, maybe 4 cups in this set. You have a cup, 3/4 cup, half cup, and 1/4 cup, which I think is adequate to be able to help you measure your stuff correctly and accurately. Okay? The next thing you will need is measuring spoons. And again, I bought my set at the home hardware store. I believe these spoons come in levels of a teaspoon and a half. No, sorry, let's start again. 1/4 teaspoon, half teaspoon, 1 teaspoon, and 1 tablespoon. Okay? 1/4 teaspoon, half teaspoon, 3/4 teaspoon and 1 teaspoon. Okay? You will also need a paring knife for your vegetables, a bottle opener if you need one so that you can open your bottle of seasoning or marinade, as I will be directing you, a large receivable food storage bag, a pan, and a pot spoon or a mixing spoon usable for use in a hot pot, and a crock pot, a cutting board, foil, and that's what you would need for all the implements or tools in order to carry out this recipe. One note is that the crock pot I have is an old-fashioned one. There are only 2 levels to it, high and low. So you can either set your crock pot to high or set it to low, and it sits on my countertop. It's an electric crock pot, of course, and that's what you would need. Right then, let's get down to the ingredients that you would need for this Asian pork tenderloin recipe, which is under 300 calories. 1/2 bottle of garlic ginger sauce. That's 1/2 bottle of garlic ginger sauce. 1/4 cup of sliced green onion. So what you do is that you slice your onion using your paring knife and using your cutting board. Okay? So it's 1/4 cup of sliced green onions that you would need. Alright? 1 pork tenderloin, about a pound. Okay? 1 pork tenderloin. Alright, so you will also need 1 large onion cut into slices. Alright, cut them into thin slices. Make sure they're manageable, not too large, but just make sure that they are manageable slices. Okay? 1 medium red bell pepper cut into 1-inch slices. So you're going to use your fingers for this to cut this into 1-inch slices. Place your finger carefully along. Well, first of all, let's deal with the red bell pepper in that you're going to cut it down the middle and get rid of all the seeds in this red bell pepper. All right. So you cut them into halves, into 2 halves. All right. And you clean it out. Clean out each half, getting rid of those seeds. And then each half in turn, here's what you do. You place each half bottom up on your cutting board, and then you use your finger to measure the 1-inch slices that you're going to cut in. Many people use different techniques in order to get their 1-inch slices. You can use your finger, you can use a ruler. Some people do that. I do a mixture of both. If I'm lazy, I use my finger. If I want to be exact, I use a ruler. Okay? So each half in turn, and you cut this into 1-inch slices. 1-inch slices, or 1-inch pieces as you would call it. Okay, the next thing you will need is 1 zucchini cut into 1/4 inch They're going to be cut into 1/4 inch pieces. Alright? Right, so let's make sure that you have everything laid out. And sorry about that, folks. It's my first show. Okay. Your zucchini must be a medium-sized zucchini. And here's what you do. Place your zucchini on the cutting board. With your knife in one hand, use your finger to determine how thick you want your slices to be. Cut carefully with your paring knife and place into a bowl. Now, I should have added that what you do is that when you cut, first you cut your green onions, then your red onions, then your red bell pepper, and then your zucchini, 4 different things. What you're going to do is place as you cut them. So place them in individual mixing bowls. Okay? Individual mixing bowls. That's what you're going to do. So you're going to put your red bell pepper pieces in one mixing bowl. You're going to put your green onions in a small mixing bowl. You're going to put your red onions in a small mixing bowl, and now your zucchini pieces or slices into another mixing bowl. So you have 4 mixing bowls on your counter. I know, it's a lot. But let's try this out, and this is what I normally do. Okay, so again, for the zucchini, make sure that you use your fingers to cut, like as a guide, to help you cut your zucchini. Take your paring knife in one hand, place your finger on the zucchini, on, your finger on the other hand on the zucchini, of your other hand, sorry, on your zucchini, and start slicing, okay? Right. And those are to be done in slices. Okay. You will next need a tablespoon of olive oil. Alright. So use your measuring spoon to measure out a tablespoon of your olive oil. Just put this aside. Okay, leave it in the tablespoon. Alright. Next, you're ready to do your combining. So what you do, combine your sauce, that, the one that you measured out before, the garlic ginger sauce, and your green onion into a large receivable food storage bag. That's what you need your storage bag for, okay? So you combine your seasoning, okay, and your sauce, the green onion and your sauce, into the large food storage bag, the large receivable food storage bag. Add your pork to the bag. Seal the bag first, and then shake it well to ensure that your seasoning and your green onion is well and evenly distributed in the bag. Alright? Put the bag in a pan. Alright? And you can then put this pan in your refrigerator for at least 30 minutes or even overnight. Alright. Then the next step is to combine your chopped up red onion, your bell pepper. So you have them in individual mixing bowls. You could put them into, combine the red pepper with, combine the red onion and the bell pepper and zucchini, and olive oil in a large mixing bowl and toss it up. Okay, so that is your fifth mixing bowl. All right. Again, let's go over this. You combine your reps, and I'm tongue-tied here. You combine, right, red onion, bell pepper, zucchini, and oil into a larger mixing bowl and toss. Okay, make sure it's all coated. So what you're going to do is, when you toss it in that large mixing bowl, use your fingers and go into the bowl and make sure that everything is coated with the olive oil. Okay, now your olive oil was previously sitting in a tablespoon that I told you to put it into. Make sure all of that is well coated. Okay, now it's time to cook. You now place your vegetables in a crock pot. Then you remove the pork from the bag and place it gently on top of the vegetables. But before you do that, discard the marinade. Again, let's go over this. First, you place the vegetables in a large crock pot. Remove the pork from the bag, making sure to discard the marinade. Okay, and place it gently on top of the vegetables. Alright. Then you cover and cook on low for 6 to 7 hours, or on high for 4 to 5 hours. How did that sound to you? I can guarantee you that this smells lovely. And you can serve it on a bed of rice if you like, or you can have it just like that. Now, when it's all done, remove your pork to a cutting board. Cover it loosely with foil and let it stand for 10 to 15 minutes before you slice the pork. Again, let's just go over this. When you remove your pork to a cutting board, cover loosely with foil, and let stand for 10 to 15 minutes before you start to slice it. You serve your pork with your vegetables. Okay, I apologize for bumbling this first show of mine, but it is my first show, so I promise to be better the next time around, okay? This makes 4 servings, and I'll give you a little chart of how many calories and so on are contained in this recipe. Calories, 220. Total fat is 5 grams. Saturated fat is 2 grams. Protein is 24 grams. Carbohydrates is 15 grams. Cholesterol is 75 milligrams. And fiber is 1 gram. Sodium is 458 grams. And I hope that this meets with your desire to create a recipe that is under 300 calories. Okay? I think this smells delicious. I really, really do. And before I end my show, I want to give you some additional tips. And this is all about it's coming to the rescue when something goes wrong in your kitchen. If something is too salty, make the separate, let's start again. If it's too salty, you're going to start over. Make a separate batch. Omit the salt and then combine and then freeze the two batches. So if the first batch is very salty, you create a second batch, right? And omit the salt in the second batch, combine both batches, and then you can freeze half for later use. I hope this makes sense to you, okay? Again, if the first batch is salty, start with a second batch and don't put any salt in it. Then combine both batches and freeze half for later use. For soup or stew, you can combine potatoes into this soup or stew and let the soup or stew let the potatoes absorb the soup or stew. Okay, so if your soup or your stew is a bit too salty, add some potatoes and that would absorb the salt. And add a bit of sugar. Alright, I have another tip for you, but you know what I'd like you to do is write to me at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com and I would be pleased to give you my second tip for free at no cost. I will have some of these tips every week and I can guarantee you that these tips are going to help you, for different things that go on in your kitchen. But for this week, it's coming to the rescue. So, you would like to know more about tips on coming to the rescue? Please write to me at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. This is it for this week and for today. My very, very first show. I want to apologize if I bumbled it somehow. And I promise to be better next week. I thank Victor, and I hope he tries this recipe and see how it goes. Thanks everyone, and stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You can catch Dining with Donna Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific on Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway?